A bead of sweat rolled down Romilly's brow and soaked into the thin blanket beneath her head. In midsummer, the inside of the cargo trailer was always sweltering, and being accustomed to the dark and the heat and the relentless jostling from the road wasn't the same as being comfortable. But then comfort wasn't a concept she remembered very well anyway. She'd been sold to the Menagerie as a skinny 6-year-old with wide, honey-brown eyes, clinging to her older sister's hand while she whispered reassurances into her younger sister's ear. At 20, Romilly was still thin and her eyes were still wide and honey-brown, but the rest of her was all grown up. For the past decade of their 14 years in captivity, the oracles had shared a single cage on wheels just wide enough to let them sleep side by side and just tall enough to stand up in. Romilly's entire world consisted of 192 cubic feet of space, which she shared with her sisters. What little time they didn't spend staring out at the world through steel mesh was spent performing, in chains. Romilly could recall little of her life before the Menagerie, and what memories she still possessed had taken on the hazy quality of a half-remembered dream. The overloaded semi rolled to a stop with a familiar groan and the harsh squeal of brakes, and her body rocked with the motion. Near the front of the trailer, the pup whined in her cage, and at the rear one of the cats snorted, startled from sleep by the sudden loss of forward momentum. The cats, she knew, always dreamed of trees, of wind and earth and prey. The pup dreamed about her mother. Romilly remembered their dreams clearly, though she hadn't been able to peek into them in months. She sat up on the threadbare quilt that served as her pallet in the summer and her blanket in the cold. She glanced at the sister on her left, then at the sister on her right, both still asleep in spite of the narrow, empty space she had left between them. She could hardly see them in the muddy darkness, but she knew their shapes by heart. On the left was Lala, with her perpetual baby face and thin frame, dirty toes peeking from beneath her long layered skirt, even with her legs curled up to her chest. Lala was the youngest of the three, and the smartest, according to most. On the right was Mirella, whose bountiful figure endured, though she was fed no more than the rest of the livestock. Mirella had a spine of steel, a fact evident in her proud posture. Miri would not bend. Not for food, not for sleep, and not for comfort. Deep down, her sisters understood that if she was ever pushed too hard, she would snap, and the recoil might kill them all.